Hey guys, Clover here. Welcome to another Raid Challenge video. This, guys, will be another account takeover for Bones71. We actually did the whole thing, but I'll be showcasing the team that we actually built for Clan Boss. So, Bones was having issues with the Clan Boss. He wasn't doing any damage for Ultra Nightmare, but because of his recent pull of Man-Eater, he wanted to build a team that could possibly 2-key or 3-key Ultra Nightmare. So, what we're gonna do, guys, is we'll show the team that we've built is based on one Man-Eater and Painkeeper, but it's not the normal budget Man-Eater team. It's a budget Man-Eater with a twist because we're also using Farrakhan the Fat in there. He is an all ally attack champion, which means we'll have the added benefit of boosting our damage through just getting everybody to attack a single target with their default skill, doing additional damage, and any War Masters or Giant Slayers that will proc through that. So let's just go through the gearing of each and every one of those champions that we have built for Void. And for Affinity, it really changes, so you'll have to be very careful for Spirit Affinity, especially for Ultra Nightmare. I'll have everything in the description below. I've got this information from Deadwood Jedi. He did this build over, I think it was Bobo who did it first, and then he put everything on that website, so you can check it out. I'll put a link down below in the description. So let's go over the gearing of everybody. First up is Dracomorph. Dracomorph is going to be the all-star of this team. He has over 3,000 attack here, 54% crit rate, 215 critical damage. This was a bit tricky because what I was trying to do is get Dracomorph to 232 speed. I think, did he change anything? I swear he was at 232 yesterday, but it still works at 231. Okay, so it's 231 or 232. This speed is very, very important. 54% crit rate, 215 critical damage, and 269 accuracy there. The accuracy is important so you can land all the debuffs on enemies. And then for masteries, I went War Master, and of course picking up Master Hexer to extend the duration of our debuffs. Then next up is going to be Man-Eater. Man-Eater is very important to stay at 248 speed. Critical rate as much as you can, but remember we're going to have Farrakhan in there. He's going to be giving the whole team a 30% critical rate buff. So the maximum here would be 70% critical rate on all of your champions and getting critical damage instead of anything else. Keeping accuracy low for Man-Eater because of the decreased attack that he can possibly apply, and reduce your damage. By the way, something very important with all these champions that I showed so far, so Draco and Man-Eater, keep their HP levels at under the slow target's HP. So we'll go through to the slow target there, and also try to keep their defense as close to and over 2,000 defense as possible. That's what I did with Draco here. He has 2.2. Man-Eater has a 2.9k. And then let's go over Painkeeper. Painkeeper is another requirement for this build. So in the DPS slots, you can do whatever, but Painkeeper, Man-Eater are basically essential. And then the all ally attack champion is also essential, but it really depends who you're going to use. And it's different when you're going to be using Krila, because Krila adds certain other difficulties to the team, but it still works with Krila as well, because Krila does apply a shield. That's why she brings in more difficulties. So Painkeeper, 40,000 health, 1.9k defense, 90% crit, 120 critical damage, and yeah, 223 it's her speed. That's why it's also required there. Masteries, in terms of masteries, she's oh, by the way, I'm assuming everybody fully skills up their champions here. So masteries, I went War Master, of course, just going down this tree, and then support tree going down this way all the way to Lasting Gifts, which does nothing for her, but there's no point in getting anything. Very important to be picking up Life Stricken for all your champions that are not the slow champion. So do not miss out on that mastery if you are building a champion that's not going to be the slow target. And then next up in this team is going to be Farrakhan the Fat, which is going to be another requirement, as I said before. Let's go over his gear. I have him with a lifesteal set just because I was trying out this build already, and I had 2 spirit champions. Giving him the lifesteal set adds the benefit of also having him to full without really relying on life drinker as well. So he doesn't need life drinker right now, and the lifesteal set is just going to get him to full all the time because of War Master procs. What we want here is 172 speed, getting a crit rate as close to 70 as possible, 118 critical damage, 253 accuracy. The health points are okay where they are. It's the defense that I do like about him, because on this build he has very high defense, so that he doesn't get hit with too strong attacks, so that the slow target gets everything. And now we reach the point where we actually going to talk about the slow target. So what's the slow target going to do? For Void Affinity and against Force Affinity, we're going to be using Frozen Banshee. Why Frozen Banshee? Because she's got a great skill called Frostblight, which applies a poison sensitivity. This is going to help our Draco do even more damage. Everybody that applies a poison will do even more damage through this. So it's going to be Frozen Banshee. She also gives a nice accuracy lead there to everybody, so they can apply their own debuffs. So in terms of building the slow target, it needs to be a weak affinity when fighting affinity. And for Void, you need to have your best champion in there. That's why I picked Frozen Banshee. It has 54,000 health. I think it's a little bit too much. I'll try to reduce it if it doesn't work on Void. And 123 speed, 123 speed is also essential here. 232 accuracy and critical rate, critical damage helps, but she'll be going very slow compared to every other champion that you have in the team. So getting her stats up is not that important. But remember, we've got that all ally attack, so getting her doing more damage will actually benefit us. It's not exactly like the budget Unkillable with Maneater. It's totally maxed out, and Master is the same thing. No life drinker, very, very important. No life drinker on her. Even picked up Cycle of Magic and Master Hexer on her, just to get that added bonus of extending the duration of debuffs, and maybe recycling her poison sensitivity skill much sooner. So let's go in there. I'll show you what the rotation is for the clan boss on Ultra Nightmare for Void. And if you want to see how this team works for other difficulties, it's the same kind of speed. You just change a little bit here and there, and the rotation changes a little bit. So all the information will be down in the comments below. So Ultra Nightmare, we have to pick up these rewards. What do we get? We get one item there. Ooh, a sacred. Okay, that's cool. So guys, how this team works is basically you have all your teams going, and Maneater will be providing Unkillable to the whole team throughout the big AoEs and the stun target. So Frozen Banshee will be going much slower than everybody else. She'll be receiving the stun when the boss does his single target skill, and that way this becomes Unkillable. And during that turn, only Frozen Banshee will be Unkillable. Everybody else will not be protected. That's why you need to have that difference in terms of health and defense, having Frozen Banshee the lowest defense of them all, the highest HP of them all, and everybody there having life drinker or a lifesteal set, so that they can remain at high levels of health, so that the boss single targets the slow target. So how we start this is, of course, A3 on Maneater. We do whatever on everybody else, so in terms of DPS. So here with Painkeeper, we do A1 here, just to give that boost in her perimeter a little bit. For Farakin, we don't do his A3, his all ally attack just yet. We do Frozen Banshee's A3 here for the poison sensitivity. Let's apply some poisons. There we go, we're almost full. So we're gonna do A2 next with Painkeeper. This is for Ultra Nightmare, by the way. So it's different on other difficulties. So there's the A1 from Maneater. Not gonna do A3 just yet from Farakin. The A3 will come after the stun, the first stun. Painkeeper again with A1. Maneater again, A1 or A2. So here we got stunned on Draco, but I think this will even out on the following turns. So I just need to tune a little bit his health, but it should be just fine for the remaining of the fight. I think also Frozen Banshee's health is a little bit too high, so I'll reduce that. But don't you worry, this will work for sure. So A3 here, right after the stun, as I said. As long as Farakin or Painkeeper or Maneater don't get stunned, it's gonna work. So here is when we do our reduction in cooldowns. Let's do the A3 here. Boom. That's it. And now we can just press auto and just watch it go. So the real test is going to be in the following turns up until turn count 10, if this actually works the way that it's built. So you will see Farakin, he's already full because of that lifesteal set that I said, but later on in the much later turn counts, it's gonna be way worse. So here we receive the stun with Frozen Banshee, and this really equalizes the higher we go in turns, because it becomes too much. So everybody starts at 0, and that's where the heal really counts from Painkeeper. So we're doing some good damage. I'll let this go on for a little bit, and we'll see how much damage we do up until the end of this. So guys, as you can see, we reached the end of this run. Easy 2-key Ultra Nightmare with this team. And honestly, with some better gear, we can even get up to 40 million damage, which will enable us, in case the affinity teams do a little bit less damage, this will enable us to recover, you know, the enough damage so we can have a 2-key on Ultra Nightmare. This works for Nightmare and Brutal as well. It just needs some changes to some of the champions. For example, for Nightmare, you need to change one item of speed, I think, on Farrakhan, and for Brutal, I think it's just a change of the speed. The only problem with this team is going to be on Spirit Affinity for Ultra Nightmare, where you actually need to change one piece of item on Dracomorph actually, and also change the rotation of the champion. So definitely check out the comments if you're interested in those. And guys, if you're ever interested for an account takeover, just send me a message over on Discord. I do these for all areas of the game. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!